Alright, folks, gather round because we've got an emotional rollercoaster for you today. Picture this. You're in the middle of a nail-biting playoff game. Everything's on the line, and then, bam, a player you trust to make the big play completely fumbles under the pressure. Ouch. It stings, right? But here's where the story takes a turn for the better. Instead of the world piling on, you've got your coach coming in like a knight in shining armor, defending his guy in a way that will make you want to hit that subscribe button faster than Lamar Jackson running for a first down. Yeah, you guessed it. We're talking about the one, the only, John Harbaugh, who went full on dad mode to defend his guy, Mark Andrews, after a heartbreaking series of plays. Get ready, because we're diving into how Coach Harbaugh made sure Mark Andrews knew it wasn't all on him. And trust me, it was a thing of beauty. The playoff heartbreak. Mark Andrews in the spotlight. Recap the dramatic divisional round matchup between the Ravens and Bills. Bring in the drama. It was a classic game, down to the wire, and the Ravens were this close to pulling off an upset. Humorously exaggerate Mark Andrews' mishaps, and then, Mark Andrews, who's usually the hero, turns into the villain for a hot second. First, a fumble, then a drop on a late two-point conversion. Oof, talk about tough. Harbaugh to the rescue. The defense of a player who needed it. Describe the common reaction after a player has a rough game. Hint, people love to point fingers. Then, introduce Harbaugh's reaction. But wait, before the social media pitchforks came out, Harbaugh, like the class act he is, stepped in and said, "Not today." Internet trolls use humor to talk about how fans might have been itching to blame Andrews. Imagine. You're Mark Andrews, and the whole internet is ready to roast you like a marshmallow over a campfire. But Harbaugh swoops in like a coachy superhero. Forget capes, he's got a hoodie. Why Harbaugh was right. It's never just one player's fault. Emphasize that the loss wasn't just Mark Andrews' fault. Light-heartedly point out that the Ravens had some team-wide issues. Let's not forget 3 turnovers, 5 penalties, and only 1 for the Bills. But sure, let's blame the guy who dropped a pass. Right? Makes total sense. Joke about how in sports, it's never just one person who messes things up. But the cameras love to zoom in on the one guy who seems to mess up last. Sports are cruel, my friends, especially when you're the last person to touch the ball in a crucial moment. Harbaugh's masterclass in leadership. Discuss Harbaugh's leadership style and how he protected Andrews in a way that not only boosted the tight end's confidence but also showed great team cohesion. Use humor to describe Harbaugh's support. Harbaugh's like, "Nah, we're not doing this. Mark Andrews is a pro. And anyone who thinks he's the reason we lost can take it up with me. Good luck, haters." Joke about how Harbaugh could probably do motivational speeches on the side. Seriously. Someone get Harbaugh a TED Talk. He's got leadership down to a science. The bigger picture. Team mentality versus individual blame. Dive into how the best teams know how to defend their players in public, even when things go wrong. Add humor by comparing Harbaugh's leadership to other scenarios. This is like that one time when your friend spills soda on the couch and you're ready to blame them. But then someone else steps in and says, "Hey, it was an accident. We all make mistakes, but we clean it up together." Yeah, Harbaugh's that friend. The future for Mark Andrews. Talk about how Andrews will bounce back and how Harbaugh's words will help him next season. End with humor and optimism. So, don't expect Mark Andrews to be crying in his cereal next year. He'll be back on the field like a man on a mission. And next time, hopefully, he won't be fumbling, dropping, or, who knows, maybe he'll just catch every pass like he's been doing all season long. Conclusion. Wrap up by praising Harbaugh's leadership in a lighthearted way. Seriously. Harbaugh's got the coach game down, doesn't he? A true class act who knows that it's not about throwing players under the bus, especially not his star tight end. Instead, it's about keeping the team together, showing support, and making sure they come back stronger. Encourage engagement from viewers. What do you think? Is Harbaugh the coaching GOAT? Should more coaches defend their players like this? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with all your friends, especially if they're Harbaugh fans or someone who's had a tough day in the spotlight. John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson show support for Mark Andrews after critical mistakes in Ravens' heartbreaking loss. The Baltimore Ravens' crushing playoff defeat to the Buffalo Bills was defined by crucial mistakes. None more memorable than Mark Andrews' late-game fumble and a critical two-point conversion drop. These errors came at a devastating moment for the three-time Pro Bowl tight end, who had one of the worst games of his career just when his team needed him the most. Andrews, a 7-year NFL veteran and one of the most reliable players in the Ravens' offense, mishandled a first-half pass before making two critical blunders late in the game. With just 8:44 remaining, the Ravens were trailing 24-19 when Andrews fumbled after a would-be first-down catch in Buffalo's territory. The turnover allowed the Bills to recover and extend their lead with a field goal, making it 27-19. But the most heart-wrenching moment came later, when Andrews had a chance to tie the game on a two-point conversion with only 1:33 left in regulation. Lamar Jackson found him in the end zone on a perfectly executed rollout. The ball hit Andrews in both hands, but he lost control as he fell backward into the end zone, missing what could have been the game-tying score. The drops were the first Andrews had made since Week 6 of the regular season, and his failure to convert on the two-point play in the postseason felt like a cruel blow to the Ravens' championship hopes. With that, the Bills were able to run out the clock and hold on to a 27-25 victory, advancing to the AFC Championship while sending the Ravens home. Ravens rally around Andrews. "We wouldn't be here without Mark." After the game, Andrews did not speak with reporters and skipped the team's final media session of the season. However, Ravens head coach John Harbaugh, as well as Andrews' teammates, rushed to his defense. Despite his mistakes, they were quick to remind everyone that the tight end had been a central part of the team's success all season long. "There's nobody that has more heart and cares more and fights more than Mark," Harbaugh said of Andrews. "We wouldn't be here without Mark." That's what you say to him. It's like anything else. Destiny is a decision that you make. The decision is how you handle what comes in your life. Mark will handle it fantastic like he always does because he's a high-character person. He's a tough person. He's a good person. I'm proud of him just like I'm proud of all the guys. Ronnie Stanley, the Ravens' longtime left tackle, also praised Andrews, calling him a warrior and telling the tight end he loved him and had complete confidence in his ability to bounce back. Defensive back Kyle Hamilton, who had a big role in Baltimore's defense all year, said anyone placing the blame solely on Andrews should take a step back and recognize that football is a team sport. For anybody to say anything about him, you have to look in the mirror, Hamilton said, defending his teammate. Lamar Jackson shoulders the blame. "It's on all of us." Lamar Jackson, who had his own share of mistakes in the game, also took the high road when addressing Andrews' errors. Jackson was responsible for two first-half turnovers, a costly interception and a fumble that helped the Bills take control of the game in the first half. But unlike others who might have placed the blame squarely on Andrews, Jackson was adamant that the loss wasn't on just one player. "I'm just as hurt as Mark," Jackson said. Ain't his fault. All of us played a factor in that game. It's a team effort." Jackson went on to explain his own role in the turnovers, taking full responsibility for his mistakes. "I threw a BS interception," Jackson admitted. "It was 7-7 at the time. I believe they scored after that. Battled back. Fumble. Snap. Trying to make something happen. It was like an RPO play. So I couldn't really throw the ball to Isaiah Likely. An offensive lineman was down the field. Like I've been saying all season, every time we're in a situation like this, turnovers play a factor. Penalties play a factor. Tonight, turnovers. Can't have that ****. That's why we lost the game. As you can see, we were moving the ball wonderfully. Just hold on to the fing ball. Sorry for my language. It's fing annoying. I'm tired of this ****. Despite the mistakes, Jackson was still able to lead a masterful 88-yard touchdown drive in the closing minutes, accounting for all 88 yards with both his arm and his legs. But the hope for a dramatic comeback was dashed after Andrews' drop on the two-point conversion attempt. The Ravens' season came to a heart-wrenching end, yet Jackson refused to blame his teammate for the loss. "I'm not gonna put that on Mark. Bro," Jackson continued. "He's been battling all season. He's been doing all the great things he's been doing all season. A team effort. Ravens look ahead after another playoff heartbreak. As heartbreaking as it was, the Ravens' playoff run was not a failure due to one player's mistake. It was a collective effort. And despite the glaring errors, the Ravens continued to show fight and resilience throughout the game. Jackson's leadership and defense were key components that kept Baltimore in the game. And even though they fell short, the team's overall performance shouldn't be overshadowed by a few costly mistakes. Head coach John Harbaugh summed up the difficulty of playoff football, saying, "It's tough to win playoff games. It's tough to get in the playoffs. Then you've got to stack 4 playoff wins to win a championship." For Jackson, Harbaugh, and the rest of the team, this loss stings, but they know that next year, they'll have to do better, especially when it comes to ball security. The offseason will likely bring tough questions about what the team needs to do to push past the playoff hurdle that's prevented them from reaching a Super Bowl in recent seasons. But as Harbaugh said, destiny is a decision that you make. The Ravens will look to come back stronger, knowing full well that the road to success in the NFL is never a straight path. For now, they'll rally around Andrews, knowing that one missed play doesn't define a player or a season. As Jackson stated, it's a team effort. We need to bounce back. And for the Ravens, that bounce back will be critical as they aim to finish what they